So this is the Showtime Theater here aboard the ship that we have been building in this series. As you can see, it is 2 floors and it looks wonderful. So this is what we build in this video, and I hope you guys do enjoy. Welcome back, guys, to another video, and welcome back to the Minecraft cruise ship tutorial. This is episode 18, and it is a big one because it is the theater. Alright, so the theater is one of the most important places on a ship. It is where multiple events are hosted, such as your normal shows. Then you also have like trivia and other like family games and such. So it's one of the most important, and it's also one of the largest. So before the video, I did come in here and lay out sort of what I wanted to do just to make sure I wasn't lost, because it's such a big area. On this ship, however, the theater is quite smaller, and I could have made it 3x if I came down here and removed one set of rooms, but I decided to keep it low-key. I wanted this a nice little smaller theater just because I feel like it fits the ship. But don't worry, it is still probably the third largest behind the main dining room, which is going to be massive, and the atrium, which you have already seen me build. So when I think theater, I'm thinking dark. All right, so the main themes of the ship right now are a dark brown and a light brown. So what I'm going to do for this theater is it's just going to be dark oak and probably a lighter ceiling. So first thing I want to do, though, I will fill in the carpet here. So for the carpet, we're going to do the actually the same thing I've done on the rest of the ship, which I believe is this. I do think there's a little bit of pink in there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Oh. Oops. Okay. Well, I guess I'm finding mistakes in my own building. Anyways, I'm just going to fill in this entire thing. And don't worry about this side. We are going to flip the entire thing. So we can just fill it with an assortment of reds. And it should work. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we are going to build the stage. And I did add some lights in here so you guys could actually see, because I know this space can be pretty dark. And I'll add some over here as well. So we have this nice lit up space that we can build. So first things first, the stage, the most important part. So I always make my stage out of black terracotta just because I feel like stages are typically black. So fill this in right here. So you have the nice stage right in the middle where your actresses and actors can come out to perform. And then I did also think I was going to extend it one like that. Yeah. So, and I will also curve it a little so it's like this, and then on the edge here I will add some stairs, just in case the show calls for an actor needing to get back up. So you have your nice basic little stage here, and now I'm going to add sort of the brim around it. I'm going to use chisel course, and I'm actually going to use pretty much a toned down design of what I did on the Empress. So I will just bring it to the ceiling here, and then I'm going to curve it like this, and then bring it to the middle here. And so added some curve to it, or can you even call this an incline? I guess reverse incline, just an angle to make it look cooler. And so yeah, all right. So, and then I can also add some quartz to this, just so that it looks a little nicer like that. And then add some trapdoors to the bottom here. All right, and then on the side here, the wall does, I will have the wall come in at a slant here, so I will get some dark oak planks just to fill this in. And then right here, what's gonna be, there's gonna be a door right there that'll go to the backstage, which will be the next video. So now we can just fill all of this in. So I had it like this. So all the way to the back, just so I can make this very easy and pretty much stack the entire thing up. So I believe that's 9 blocks. Okay, I was one off. It's 8. It's good to know. Right, 8. And you just fill this in right here. So you can kind of see what we're working with here. And then there are some other designs that you can put like onto the wall if I just want to make sure each one is equal, so I can do what I want to do, which is add some, not quartz. Let's see, it's easier to do that up here actually. Pretty much just adding it every 3 blocks, and then that goes to the edge. And then back here, it doesn't really matter because you really can't see. So, sack that down. Oh, nope. Sack that down, and you can see. Ooh, I did make a mistake. Whoops. See, everybody makes mistakes. It's all right. Not like it really matters. And there we go. So that's 3, right? Okay, I was just making sure. And then the block I want to do for this, or replace the gold with here, I do think I just want to use spruce wood. I think would make the most sense, unless I want to do something red like mangrove, which we could actually try out. We can still test. I'll just select up here. Come down here, select the entire thing, and place gold block. See, mangrove wood. So that doesn't look awful, I'll have to say. And I did make a mistake here. So it doesn't look bad. Well, I don't really know, honestly. I'm trying to just imagine it flipped right now. With seats. Imagine acacia seats. It does not look bad. That is strange. You know what, I'll keep it for now. If I want to change it later, I will, but I do feel like it looks passable, so I'll keep it like that. And so, yep, and then you do have the main entrances here, which I will start working on. So I just like having double doors like this, adding some stairs, and then having your doors like this. So very nice and simple, and then it leads right on in, which we can start to configure like this. Yeah, like this. Okay. And then they walk right on in here. And then of course down here, you need the same thing. So make them even on both floors. Come in here and do that. And then you can just fill this floor in with random blocks. And so, yeah. All right. And then on this area, I did want to have the room come slanting in like this up until here. Well, actually, can't even go there. Right, because I need to add the floors in between here. So I'll do that real quickly. So I will just use red carpet for now as I fill this, and I will assort it later, but that also means we have to add a block under it so that the concrete powder doesn't fall. That is one of the disadvantages of using concrete powder, as good of a block it is for having a different texture within your floors. It does have gravity, so it can and will fall, which is very annoying, especially if you're working on multiple different floors at once. But nonetheless, we can fill this all in, and it is dark over here, so I will add a light. So fill it in like this. And then I don't believe these are actually okay. Yeah. Ugh, just need to add lights everywhere. It's so dark. All right, so now you have your general outline for the seating, and then now you do need stairs to go up, which are on slight inclines. So you can use really any block that's red that matches the floor. Just depends on what you really want. I think nether brick works better. And then right here, I'll add these two. Is that, and then up here. And then if you're wondering what this is going to be the area where the audio technicians are. So it's like the box up here. And it's going to be a tiny window, but they will have to manage. So it's a nice little slit up there, which is going to be rather large actually. So maybe... I mean, it doesn't really matter. I guess we can make this space a little bigger and add a little bit of variety to it. Like this, and then just have a block that goes like that. And then add some stairs right here. And then a nice door, which will go into where they work. Which we will do later, because we still have the rest of the theater to finish. So now I'm going to add the railings. And the glass goes around, and just gonna use that. And then for the glass, we can use a different array of colors. We could use white, or we could use red, or honestly, we could even use like pink or something. There are lots of different options we can choose, or we can use like a dark gray. Gray, white, red. I think white looks the best, in my opinion. Obviously, you can choose whatever you want, and I honestly advise you or encourage you to use whatever you want, because please don't just copy my building, as you might not get a lot out of it. It would be better if you went off and sort of used mine as like a template and did your own thing with your building, so your ship resembles you and your ideas, because that is important, because it's nice to see in different builds the different techniques people use and different styles you use, and how they resemble you. So as we fill in these nice little areas, we have a nice little theater. Now we can add some seats. So I did say earlier I wanted to use acacia because I think it looks interesting. I think it adds a nice dynamic, so we will do just that because I do think it looks nice. And then I do add doubles here, just so I can have more seats. If you can kind of see in the pattern I do it. If there's a seat right there, there's no reason a seat can't go there, And then here, like this. And then don't worry about realism. It really doesn't matter if you can't actually walk in between here, because in real life, every block is a meter, so 2 meters would be more than enough room to have a seat, a walkway, and a railing. But of course it's Minecraft, but it doesn't matter. Then add seats all the way up here. Then you can even add let's see, you could even add like a lounger seat or two, like back here, like that. So that looks interesting. We'll add one loner seat right there. That'll be my seat. All right. And then another thing you do need in theaters is you need the floor seating. So the floor seating, you could do this multiple different ways. You could have large, almost sofa-like seats, or you could have individual seats. So it really depends on what you want to do. Personally, I'm trying to remember what I did on Empress. I'm using Empress as the baseline for a lot of on this ship, just because it was the most recent thing I built. Sofas do make a lot of sense. Yeah, we'll use like the sofa-like seating. So first of all, you do need a walkway here in the middle, as a lot of shows do also incorporate crowd interaction, and they need a nice walkway here. So we will start nice and humbly right here, and I will just simply make it a curve like this. Then like this, coming around, pretty much following the trail that the previous one made. And then for right here, I will just do seating like this up against the wall. So like so. And then you can have areas where people can walk right here. So it is pretty small. This is a very small theater. I will say we could extend it actually, and I think I will actually. I think I'll extend this a few blocks backwards, just because I feel like there needs to be more room for floor seating. So yeah, I should have done that anyways with right here. Oops. So I will move it 4. And we will see what we will need to do. Fill this in. And sorry, just need to fill this in. And then stack this 8 up like it was. And look at that, it's like nothing even happened. So this gives us a lot more room to add more seating, which is always nice. Now honestly up here you could just add some individual seats like this. And now it's making me want to do individual seats for the entire thing, but I will keep it like that. And yeah, all right. So now what is next is we do need to add some tables for these seats because people do need a place to put their drinks. So they're not just putting it, you know, on the floor where people could trip over it, because that would not be nice. But I will add lights all up on this. So the way I do it is I just add chains. And these will be the table legs. And then I will put them in front of here. And then I put them in the middle on these seats. So like this. Just going all the way up the stairs. Not one here though, because that is a walkway. And then back here. And then one for this lonely seat. And then just fill them all in with whatever tabletop you choose. For me, I chose polished blackstone. It's probably my favorite pressure plate to use as a table just because I think it works well, especially with the chain combo, since both are similar colors. So yep. And then actually, okay, here I'll put it in the middle. All right, and then of course here, like this. It gets a little annoying to put them on such a small chain, but eventually you will get through. So there you go. Now you have a very basic outline for a theater. You have your floor, you have your stage, floor seating, and then your stadium style seating up here. And then now we can get back to what we were doing before I got distracted by building the entire theater. But we can build the actual hallway into it. So I'll just fill all of this in like this until we get to the middle, and then I will go back and fill the floor like that. I'll make this spruce wood, and then I will add a nice plant right here to kind of make the transition from the spruce wood to the mangrove wood a little nicer. So like that. And then, well, for the ceiling, honestly, I could do like have nice quartz stairs and slabs, which I guess is the right thing to do, even though it's going to take a while. But it is the right thing to do because you can add lights very easily onto that. I'll just fill this in like this. All right, so it's time to fill in the ceiling here. So I will just continue to use smooth course, and then there will not be a bar in this theater, which might come as a surprise because I know that every space on a cruise ship does have a bar, but this one does not. At least not on this ship. So as you can see, you can already see like where the lights, the lights could possibly go. I think I'm just gonna use end rods right here just because they make sense to use. Yeah, all right. And then there will not be lights here because in the theater, obviously the only place that is supposed to be lit up is the stage. I just have the lights surrounding the area right now so you guys can actually see, but those will be removed once I'm finished. And then back here, this can be like a storage place or something. So we can just add like a door here. That will be crew only. If I can find the door. So it'll just be a crew only space. And then we can just, you know, we can just add more plants just because. Going right there, walk through, and you'll get to the theater. So pretty basic, but it works. Oh, yeah, and then right here, to cover up the wool, I'm just gonna use some trapdoors. And then up here, you don't really need anything. So now, actually, we can start working on the ceiling, which can be interesting at times because you have to wonder where like the stage lights will go. But I will just start by, I'm gonna make the ceiling white again, just matching the theme of the rest of the ship. And I will add a quartz or smooth quartz brim. The ceiling, I'm not gonna do anything like super fancy with it because I don't think it really needs anything fancy to take away from the actual show itself. So I will just fill all of this in with quartz. I think I'm gonna leave this though. No. What we're gonna do, we're gonna move this one down. So like that, and like this, and then just hope the actor does not hit their head on that. But there we go. And then fill all of this in with smooth quartz, which I will make very quickly by doing this. And then by hand doing all this. So now you have your very nice and shiny ceiling to your theater. So as you can see the concept that we're going for. And then now, typically there is a thing that drops down here. I will make it, I think right here will be fine. So basically what this will be is that it will just a little drop down area. And what it's going to do is it's going to hold your like spotlights and such, so we can add those in very quickly. So just get a spotlight like this, and then speakers, which are important. I like going for the, where's the full like black one that doesn't have the red in the middle? I think I'm blind. Here. All right. So spotlights like that, and then you have some speakers, or honestly you can have an assortment of stuff. You can also have like a thing that drops down from the ceiling, and it's like a it's like this, but I don't want to make sure it doesn't cover. It kind of might be doing a little much here. Doesn't cover too much though, but it basically just has speakers on it. You see them in stadiums a lot, but I guess it's similar to a stadium. And then for like the centerpiece, I guess right here, we will add a very basic sort of chandelier. So we could have it right here. No, I think right there makes more sense. So like that, and then pretty much what it's going to be. Trying to think of chandelier designs. Most simple one I can really think of. See, I don't want to make it like too bright though. I don't really want to make it out of sea lanterns, so maybe we'll see how this looks. Remove these because we don't need them anymore. Maybe get a mangrove trapdoor, or do we make this like one block longer? So like this. And then add a trapdoor like this. Oh my goodness, it is so difficult using these. So I'm having to shift at the same time so I can actually place them. And then I'm gonna add some red stained glass. And then also, I advise you again to make up your own chandelier designs. Just like that. See? I think I've done better. But it's also fine. And I'll add them connecting on the outside like this. And then on the inside as well. And I hope that doesn't drop down too much. Let me see. Let me actually test it from the seat right here. Ooh, yeah, kind of does. Okay, well, we can just remove this one and have it like that. And then I will add some cords going around it, and then this will go actually into our final sort of ceiling design, because I did say I didn't want to do too much with the ceiling. And that is still true. So the last thing I wanted to do, I just wanted to add like pretty much lines going out, go out like all the way back here from the ceiling or from the chandelier. So it would look like this. So like this would go all the way back here, and then this would very slowly get longer like that. And this would do the same thing. And then you would have one going out like this. And then same thing on this side. What did I do here? Okay, wait. I don't remember actually. How did I... Sorry, my brain is trying to process this. Okay. It's like that. Bit of a mess, but it is fine. And then I can just replace all of the 0 with 551. And we can go in here and kind of see the design that I was going for. So, yeah, looks fine. Oh, wow. It's a massive thud from upstairs just now. And, yeah. All right. And then the stage obviously goes back more into here. And we'll get to, you know, more of sort of that when we do the backstage in the next video. And we can fill that up. Fill this in, and I will set this all to netherrack, because you want to have the backstage be tall. Just like this. And then there are more designs. I'm trying to think of designs that could go here. I think this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do this. So that's a nice little design there. And yeah, honestly, that's really like about it. The last thing you really need to put in is a curtain, which of course will be red, because what else would it be? Yeah, I like to have mine have a nice little like curve to them. It's like this. Have it drape over the top like that. And then add some walls. Some walls like that. Nice little curtain. Don't need to get too fancy with it. And then honestly, last thing we need to do is this, which is just the box where the audio technicians work. So really all we need to put in here are some audio things, so we can get like some redstone stuff to, you know, make it look like levers and switches where they mix the audio and play stuff like this. And then I will set the back here to no blocks, just because why not, right? And then it does need a light in here. Actually, you know, it's bright enough. All right. Next thing I'm gonna do is I will make these connect just so I don't have to do it again when I flip. And then honestly, we could just flip it right now. I don't think there's much. Ooh, storage room back here. Okay. I would like to get a crew only sign. I wonder where I could find one of these in this wonderful ship. Probably the thing we just built in the last episode, just because I remember it. So we'll get one of these and then fly all the way back through this wonderful ship, which, if this is the first video you're watching of this series, I have built all of this on camera, so go check out the rest of the series. Actually, there's two places we need to place these. All right. Here you go. And then, well, storage room. Pretty typical. It can just be a storage room. There won't be props in here. This will just be a normal crew one. Just 'cause the props will go in the other thing. The backstage. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out how to say. So, for storage, we can just add some shelves and then like a barrel, something. Maybe an armor stand. Like that. Yeah, it's a pretty cool storage room. All right, now we can flip the entire thing. So we'll go all the way back here. Actually, one last thing. I will finish this back wall of the theater, just so it doesn't annoy me in the next video when I come to build the backstage. So I'm helping my future self out. And then you'll see what we do here with the backstage once we finish it. Which the next episode will be the mooring stations, which are supposed to be right there, and backstage, and then some offices, and then I'll probably finish the crew sort of hangout area. So we can flip this by going all the way over here. I'll do this, and then go to the middle, copy, flip, paste, and look at this. Well, we can't because we have to go in here. So this is your theater here aboard the ship that doesn't have a name, but I'll name it eventually. But this is a very nice and simple theater, and I hope you guys did enjoy building this. I actually, I gotta say, it turned out actually very nice. I was worried that it was gonna be too small, but I think this actually fits the ship perfectly. So I'm nice. I'm happy about that because the theater is very important. I love building theaters aboard my ships, so I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to get this done. But I do think that this came out very nice, and I hope you guys do think that too. And I hope that yours and your ship that you're building came out just as well or even better. We do have to name the theater, of course, which we will do now. But this looks, I like this. I really like this a lot, actually. Yeah, okay, nice. Huh. All right, we can go through these walkways here, come out, and right here. So what are we gonna name the theater? Honestly, I'm just gonna name it the Showtime Theater, because that is where, well, this is where Showtime is. Give it a cool little thing right there. Then we can go all the way around because there are 4 doors to this. All right. So now we can go through this entrance and then make sure everything did flip okay. So audio center looks fine. Everything looks great. Theater looks wondrous. Wonder if there's anything over here I need to fix. I think everything looks fine. All right, so if you guys did enjoy the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Check out the rest of the playlist. We'll be trying to finish this series by year's end because I did a few calculations and estimated that there might be 20 episodes left of this. So we might not even be halfway through because there's a lot to do on this ship. But this was one of the main areas. This is the Showtime Theater here aboard this ship. So if you guys did enjoy, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.